Okay, so let's talk about drawing driver, because that was something that is really desirable for loads of golfers. And I remember I used to massively struggle with drawing driver until I was shown something which was very different. Now, the thing that often causes a bit of confusion in the golf swing is the club face. Okay, and when we're looking at it, where should it be? And that's where I always used to be. I always used to kind of do pretty traditional things, you know, get set up to the driver, feel like I was reaching, similar to what I'm demonstrating here, take it back. I used to think this was the correct thing to do. However, what was happening, and I never realised, is that a little bit of my setup and also in my takeaway, I was producing what's known as ulnar deviation, which is this motion here. Okay, so this type of motion, okay, and we got this kind of radial deviation. So this is kind of known as wrist cocking in terms of golf term, and uncocking. And what happened was, when I was getting set up, because I was kind of trying to really reach for it, can you see the way this is really sort of straight in terms of like so? And then as I was taking it back, I was sort of rolling my arms, and again, this was having a real opening effect on the club. Okay, now, what I was shown was to obviously reduce that. I was sort of taught to feel like the handle is always pointing towards your belt line in terms of a reference point. And when you take the club back, if you want to keep that club face square, you do need to reduce your arm rotation. But the way you reduce your arm rotation is not, you know, I was doing this sort of stuff and then trying to do things like with my wrists, you know, to try and keep that club face. And that's not the right thing to do. Okay, you start messing around with things like your wrist positions. Every golfer thinks that keeps the club face square. It doesn't, it opens the face more. So what we need to do to really reduce down the closure in the face is get the hands close. See, if I allow my left arm to stay close to my body, and I allow the club head to just follow back through the target line, that's a square face. Okay, getting the arms away from the body and then trying to manipulate it with the wrist position, that's not under control. When you come down, that's going to end up looking this way, which is why it doesn't matter how hard you roll your wrist, you are always going to be starting that golf ball with a huge amount of inconsistency. So the feeling that you need to have in your setup position is always get the handle of the club through your belt line, and then from there you want to move that club to the side of your body, keeping your arms connected, and just allow the club head to travel straight back. And what that'll do very naturally is that will reduce your arm rotation, which in turn has a positive effect on the club, and it maintains this angle. So a good feeling if you're uncertain on that first move is however you get set up, okay, like so, through your belt line, have a look at the angle between your lead arm and the club. And when you take it back, you want to maintain that same angle. And if you can do that, that's going to give you much more stability over the club face, which will therefore make drawing driver way, way easier. See you soon.